Welcome to Life by Design, episode 392. Welcome to Life by Design. I'm your host, Dr. Jamie Richards, and I'm joined today by my colleague, Dr. Cratio Jug.
Happy to be here. I like that. Oh, that's a passionate intro this time.
We are creators of Life by Design with many locations worldwide. Each week on the show, we discuss the principles and the practice of Life by Design. Today, we're talking about self-esteem, specifically when it comes to children. Cratio, give us the scoop.
Yeah, so I found a study. I think it's really interesting for a couple of reasons. I found a study. It was in Germany, and they took 108 fourth graders, and the experiment they ran was this: very, very simple. They divided the group in half, and then one group they told, to mimic poor posture, so slouched, head down, and the other group they told to mimic the power posture, which is head, posture straight, head up, walk like you have a spine, however you want to say it. Right. And what they noticed is that the group that had the erect posture noticed a increase in their confidence and their self-esteem. Okay. And again, so here's the thing. Here's what I found super interesting because of this, because you're going to hear this and you're going to be like, well, yeah, that makes sense. But here's the but. There was, NLP was developed in the 70s by Grinder and Bandler. And I mean, we're not dissecting the whole NLP technique. We're just talking about this certain segment. One of the staples of that technique is, changing your posture, changing your movement is going to affect your moods. And these guys believed in that, and they were laughed at and ridiculed. And when we look at, the model for self-esteem, right? It's not like many people, get that advice from people looking after their health. I'm sure some people, who are counselors tell them, you have to get up and get going. But the majority of the advice is the belief around that your insides reflect your outsides, not the opposite, that you can actually change your inside by what you do on the outside. So it's just really interesting that, 50 years ago, I can't believe 1970 was 50 years ago, but 50 years ago, these guys were ridiculed for publishing this, and, now we're seeing the data come out. And my point is just be really careful what you throw into the garbage heap, based on somebody else's opinion that it's pseudoscience or unscientific or quackery, without actually digging into it yourself and making your own opinion and judgment. Yeah.
No, I think that it not only does it make sense, and then you start to see, research support, but I think just the concept that, yes, we talk at length about how the internal function of the body, changes your outward expression, whether it be skin, hair, nails, whether it be, your general health, your ability to resist illness, disease, all those different types of things. But we also have talked in many cases about the other side, and it's not just posture. You could say exercise, right? And again, what's interesting, and I think the link here in many ways is that, and this is what I want to make a point, is that when you change the outside, so that's your direct intervention, you are changing the inside, right? So we look at the inside and changing those things and getting an external expression, but changing the external also changes the inside. So when your posture is better, the chemistry of the brain works differently. When you are exercising, the body's chemistry works differently, or there's, changes in blood flow and organ function. And so it does go both ways, but it's nice to realize, and especially in the case with kids and helping them grow and develop, that there can be a trigger. And that was really the basis in many, at least my understanding of NLP, is that changing your state can change your mind. Right, it can change the way you think, and this is just a replication of that idea. And I mean, we see it in our kids. I know you do, Cratio. I do. When they're standing up tall, when they are, smiling, their attitude is very different. And some might say, well, they're standing up tall and they're smiling because their attitude is different. And the same works in reverse. If you're standing up tall and you're smiling, your attitude's different. The same is true. Sure, it's really easy and much easier to be sad when you're slouched forward. Right? It's very difficult to feel really bad when you're standing up tall and smiling.
Yeah, it's funny, right? I mean, it seems so obvious, but I don't think that it's, and I think intellectually it is obvious, but it's just interesting to me how the advice that we're getting, and very much this whole culture around, mental health in general doesn't seem to embrace that message. Like you can't, inside your body functions the way that it functions. So where you can change things is you can change things on the outside. Like after this is done, I'm going to train. I don't feel like training today. Like this is it's not a priority on my list. But what is a priority is all the benefits that I'm going to get from training. Right. So I don't want to do it. I'm sure the first, 5-10 minutes are going to be laborious and they're not going to feel very good, but I'm going to do it. Right. And the same thing is, and then that produces that positive cascade, and on the very, the next idea could just be like, I don't have to. And then, that will produce the negative cascade.
Well, and when you talk about specifically mental health, and I'm all for counseling. I'm all for, working through things and talking. I think that's great. But as you said, where's the advice to just stand up tall and put a smile on your face? And I think that when people hear that, they're assuming, what I would say, or maybe a counselor would say is, we're pretending like there's not a problem with the mental health, or there's not a challenge with the way somebody's thinking or what they're going through. That's not what we're saying. This is just another strategy. Right? It's simply another strategy, just like, a therapist might say, here, take this medication, which, we might try and move somebody away. What's the difference with using a strategy or intervention that sounds like, hey, stand up tall and smile? People are more than happy to pop a pill. But if I tell them to stand up tall and smile, like, oh, I'm sad, right? Or I'm depressed, or I get it. I'm not saying you're not. I'm simply saying, here's another strategy that you can use in order to get a result.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really the thing here, right? Is there's evidence that the external, the stuff that you can change, makes a difference to the internal. So make an effort to change the external.
Yeah, that's it, guys. You want to check out the show notes, lifebydesign.com/podcast. Find today's episode, and thank you for joining the drive to 1 million families worldwide living life by design.